You feel me? Look, the wind is talking to us. Yeah. Welcome. This is AG, and we are in May 1st, 2025. Congratulations. We made it so far, huh? I'm gonna be presenting today our April recap. It was an excellent month. My Earth year, you feel me? 28 now, and 28 years younger, you feel me? Still got that energy and still holding it down, taking my time day by day in learning. So I'm gonna just jump right in. I have my notes right here, my calendar, a couple of books I'll be reading from. And yeah, just like last video, I think I want to start off by taking some time to give thanks, acknowledge showing up today, acknowledge all of our current disparities in this world, and just kind of get some time for that. Yeah, I'm gonna pull some quotes to start us off from Audre Lorde. From "The master's tools will never dismantle the master's house," to start us off. Those of us who stand outside the circle of this society's definition of acceptable woman, those of us who have been forged in the crucibles of difference, those of us who are poor, who are lesbians, who are black, who are elder, know that survival is not an academic skill. It is learning how to take our differences and make them strengths. For the master's tools will never dismantle the master's house. They may allow us temporarily to beat him at his own game, but they will never enable us to bring about genuine change. And this fact is only threatening to those women who still define the master's house as their only source of support. Next, we're going to take from Amos Wilson. This is a little bit shorter. We must recognize that the major function of education involves securing the survival of people, advancing their interest, and enhancing quality of life. And that's from the Blueprint for Black Power. Definitely go check out the functions of the policy planning groups on page 169, and do yourself a favor, replace the power elite that they talk about with community. Next, this is from Amilcar Cabral. You measure a people's potential for liberation based on how different their culture is from their oppressors. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, and this is to my my brother Geechee Motivator from the Barter and Build think tank. You can't save victims of capitalism with capitalism, nor is ameliorating their conditions going to solve the problem. And I thought that it was important to start off with some quotes, to quote our ancestors, to quote the people that are actively doing the work of political education and organizing. And I just want to be real. The truth is the only thing that we get away with. So for us not to lose our authenticity and to stay a student of life. And because we don't have to learn alone. As you see, I'm doing this not just to stay organized within myself but the community that I have behind me and the support that I get. We're constantly evolving and readapting our ideology as we learn and educate ourselves on the different options that's out here in life. You feel me? So I'll start also. I'm gonna read a page from Howard Thurman. This is the centering moment, and I'm still taking my time with this due to, you know, this is like a prayer and a meditation book. So I like to take it like piece by piece and sit with it during the day. Let me try to find a quote from something that I've read in the past. I've usually tuck one in because I think this is a really great book so far, just helping me kind of navigate what I'm going through. The reason why I start with like, acknowledging like health disparities and stuff like that is because of this man right here. So each one of us is mindful of the tight circle in which his life is lived, aware of the other presence by which we are surrounded. Each has his private world of thoughts and aspirations and needs. We remember those within the sweep of our concern and affection who are ill, some with diseases that are terminal in character. We watch these loved ones. As for them, day by day, there is the experience of the closing of doors. We remember those whose minds are eclipsed and who spend their hours moving in the shadows where nothing quite seems to declare itself. We watch them as their minds tremble in a crazed place and our heart break with the desire for their healing and their restoration. We remember the little children who have no recollection of their mother or father, whose days are spent in the grim struggle for life and survival, whose little nervous systems are distorted and twisted and misshapen, whose minds and spirits seem to have no chance to blossom and unfold. We remember those in whose hands rest the decisions that can determine peace or war for our time. We remember ourselves, each one of us in his tight little place, the anxieties, the sin, the sorrows, the joys, the hopes, the fears. All of these in move, then mind can grasp and heart can feel crowd upon us. Our Father, as we settle ourselves in thy presence, broad over our lives with the long wisdom which thou hast distilled from thy experiences with life and dreams, to the end that there may come into our lives some fleeting glimpse of purpose and meaning and redemption, that we may be purged and cleansed and renewed and strengthened, to the end that we may be willing to do thy will and walk in thy way. For us, O God, our Father, this is enough. Whew. 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 That right there hit, man. Like, and I think having that awareness of who we are and how we come into this place, knowing that there's people battling things with health that they had no control over. You know, the abandoned people without family, without community, have to cope with the struggles of life with themselves, and that's who we doing it for. That book right there really humbles you. It really does humble you and just make you more aware. Excuse me. Of just where we are in this point in time. You feel me? It's a real fortune too, that we have these great like books and stuff upon us that we can read from, so that way we put our perspective, you know, in the hindsight, insight, and the foresight. Okay, boom. That book right there is great. Next, to transition, the spirituality before religions. Mind you, this world is compiled of a couple of different topics and things like that. I mentioned this in the last video that I made, that I was pulling from this book, and I don't have anything to read in the page. I'm gonna just go to the chapter, just give like a brief summary, maybe read a page. So part 1 is the physical evolution. It broke down like how we started off with these bodies were called in the development, and tell our spine, our jawline, the thumb, and how important our functions are. The last thing is, I'll read this paragraph right here. The Creator had taken the physical road of Ma'at and balanced this physical perfection with the knowledge, understanding, wisdom, and intellect of Tehuti. Life's history has reached its ultimate physical evolutionary proportions. Now it was time to take the spiritual road of Ma'at to perfect the spiritual wisdom of Tehuti. It was time for the masterpiece to search inside. It was now the divine time to take the involuntary path. It was time to search and find the Creator within, knowing that when the body united with the spirit, the Creator would then fulfill his or her original divine thought and desire to know self, and would proclaim, I am the Creator having a human experience. Yo, we're cooking with these books right now. Sheesh. And that was just the first chapter. I didn't even get into the second chapter. It started talking about the sun. Boom. That's where I'm from. So I'm super excited to finish diving into that. And lastly is the Powernomics book. This chapter 1 talked about the different monopolies and is giving a standpoint on the statistics, census, numbers, where they like to calculate numbers and strategically plan based off of what they've gathered from the data about numbers to finish reorganizing how they want to develop whatever program. And it's a maldistribution of wealth. So you'll see in the history of America, y'all gotta do your own research. What this is doing, it's helping me kind of understand the different branches of the implicated monopolies, just taking exactly from the book. There was a lot, that's going down all at once. From the media, I read the media. We got wealth, population. Let's see. And of course, from the Constitution, this all being about what policies were set in place that develop these organizations and things to abide by these structures. So I'm trying to get, the money game up, the power game up, and the ideology of, if I'm building meaningful relationships and connections, I could use my physical labor and my intellectual knowledge to help organize and strategize, if that's with food programs, youth programs. That's what I'm here, agency representing. So I actually found a piece that I wanted to read. It's under media monopolies. Commercial media create a virtual reality of our society. Not only are the owners of media responsible for the information that we see and hear, but they create images of blacks that define us and our sense of community. This is troublesome for blacks because whites hold ownership monopolies over this nation's print and electronic media. Media ownership is a source of control over power, wealth, and information. Media power is political power. So I'll just stop right there and continue on. Y'all, of course, go and do y'all research. Tapping in here, you'll get a different piece from a couple of different sources, all understanding. And I came to this realization a couple of days ago. We're all experiencing some type of heartbreak from something that we've cared about, and we're all just here together and here getting through it together. So I want to next talk about something that I've kind of learned through one of the brotherhood collectives that I'm a part of out here. We had a conversation last month around mentorship, and then there was a shift of not using mentorship anymore, but using jegnaship. So of course I got everything that I'm talking about. It's going to be in the description. Y'all could do your own research. But I read from this, the word jegna is a transition from the ancient kingdom of Abyssinian, the African culture. Jegna is the title of distinction. The word jegna has been translated into English as meaning hero, a warrior, soldier, courage, strength and protection of our culture, land, and people, and our elder. So a couple of they say, like, to demonstrate what it means. You've been tested, you've demonstrated extraordinary fearlessness, shown determination and courage, dedication for your people. You produce high quality work. You've been tested with struggle or a battle, and you've overcome. And of course, a jegna is a person who is still growing and still a learner, still with potential, and whose life continues to have within it promise for and connection to the future. So I think that shift for myself is kind of allowing our youth to experience what they're experiencing and continuing to give them the space to talk about how they learn to navigate and deal with life circumstances, because it's really important. I feel currently there's not enough media outlets that can portray more healthier mechanisms like journaling, meditation, taking care of yourself, diet, and the conversation around self acknowledgement of our diet, because that's kind of how it starts inside, and then building up these relationships and how we go about viewing relationships. So there's a lot to unpack. Let me get back to my notes before I go far off. I'll go into some updates next for AG's agency. In June, I'll be back in New Jersey for the gala for the mentorship program that I'm out. Jegnaship program. Nah, it isn't. They call it mentorship. I feel like the shift is going to come through me and how I represent. So holding it down, you already know. Yeah, that's in June. I want to go a little bit into more about what I'm doing out here in Atlanta. This is my second month. I have some written down here, and I'll just read a part of it. And let's see. We expect the program to provide a gateway to engage with the larger community on critical issues. For a community where Indigenous residents benefit from a sustainable network of integrated cooperative businesses led by neighborhood innovations, a safe and attractive and youth supportive environment, a food oasis supported by sustainable agriculture that promotes healthy lifestyles, development of political power through people's assemblies that advocate for policy change. That right there, it sounds amazing. What I'm going to be helping develop is the policy behind that, because policies, there are things that we follow that uphold the value and the system in which we operate, which we're operating with. So I'll be diving more into political education, still centered around the Afrocentric, Pan-African lens with the system of scientific socialism in place. I have here, what is a cooperative? To give y'all a little bit, this is pulling from a Fayette's Spotting Cooperative out here. They define it, the worker cooperative and a worker cooperative in local economy. So the worker cooperative is a type of business where the workers, employees of a business, are also the owners of that business. And everyone is a kind of a small business owner, and new employees have a way to become business owners. And that is through a workplace democracy where each worker owner is given one vote to use. The people making the decisions are the workers who have already been running the business. And instead of the profits going to someone who doesn't work at the business, the profits of a worker cooperative are made more evenly shared among the worker/owners. This means the people who work for the business get more of a share of what it makes, opposed to our capitalistic ventures that we done built up, where there's private ownership that get the benefits while the workers are just getting crumbs. And of course, I'm here to speak on that and continue to study and develop a way that we can transition into more co-ops, solidarity economics, and things like that. So next, getting a little bit into our calendar here, the strand 4 for the month of April was the balance between your energy field and the physical body. Because as you know, studied the realm of the politics on the earth, this ties more back into myself and what I've learned from traveling to Indonesia. Shout out to Bali, for real. Shout out to Blue Bali, for real. The people out there, they're holding it down. I should probably link up here. My brother Kamal out there, shout out to him. And his productions of what they're organizing is really so embedded in community. I definitely miss it. Shoot, I'm definitely learn so much, and this is how I apply it. So we have a toroidal field around us, and we are vibrations and frequency. The metaphysical and atomic structure of our body determines our mood and how we feel. My physical body is my temple. As I am processing my self-knowledge, I first look within me. What am I eating and how am I moving? My minimalist characteristics make me a simple man in the kitchen, and I provide myself with the exact nutrients that I need. I work out calisthenics, push-ups, squats. I could do my pistol squats about 3 in a row. Perfect push-ups, I'm like 35 clean max. But like when I'm moving fast, I get hit up 50 plus. Still working on that. I'm incorporating yoga and intentional stretching. That right there just solved half of my health problems. Incorporating other supplements like black seed oil, incorporating avocado within my meals, sea moss. I sit outside and I listen to sounds to calm my mind. I think more about my life and what's going on. And that's kind of how I've incorporated the balance between my energy field and my physical body. I feel like I've been removed, from my what I was used to in the environment out in Jersey. Shout out to Jersey, you feel me? That's where I was born. And being able to travel and still, like I was talking about earlier, being authentic within yourself and just who you are is of course the best way to go. You don't got to be like nobody else, you just got to be you feel me? And that's what the theme was of April. It was to reclaim who you are. So I feel like this month, a lot of my goals in developing, learning more about solidarity, economics, policy, quoting my ancestors, being at the farm, co-ops, the CMOS, political educations. Oh, let's go. I just feel so empowered, and I really, really give thanks. I was even, after listening to the Blueprint for Black Power, Amos Wilson, as I'm continuing to read, everybody shit stinks, right? The fact that you could be so self-aware of how you're showing up, and that's based off of things that you've been through, I developed like this slower pace in how I interact with myself and how I interact with other people, taking my time and not rushing anything, not forcing anything, sitting down to ask myself how I feel, where do I feel it in my body. And I write so much, I flush things out that I'm able to read and then process, and that really helps me stay as free and clear as possible to intake whatever new information that I need as I realign and unlearn to relearn. I feel like this is all the process of that. Oh, let's see what else I have. Other, political education, Red Hot City, definitely check that one out. Let me scroll down. Native land, and I'm gonna incorporate this too. I thought it was also important, understanding that outside of the Eurocentric way of teaching about the history of this land and where we are, there were native people to this land, and I'm developing the habit to understand more of the holistic and indigenous roots. But first I have to give thanks to the land that I'm on. So I'm including the description, a link to the native land that you can look up where you are and what like treaties, what things came from that. Let's see if I have it up here already. And it's pretty cool. It shows like a whole map of the world, I guess, where they did their research, and you get to type in your location. I'm gonna type in Georgia, and you see here on the website there's like different colors of the different territories, languages, and the treaties. We're out in Muskogee. Muskogee, I might be mispronouncing that, forgive me. My native comrades, all love, all solidarity, but definitely shout out to y'all. And I think by me planting this seed, I'm gonna end up attracting somebody that could provide me with more material and more education around the native land and indigenous practices, back shouting it all back to earth, back to Mother Earth, you feel me? Let's see. So I think that we're getting toward the conclusion. I think, earlier I was talking about how moving forward, I realized we all share a common care for something to the extent where we felt a sense of loss in the joy of the people, place, and things. And I want to conclude and address some topics on why I'm doing the work. What is this for? I'm speaking light on the experience of all people who've been oppressed, people battling with things that they don't speak about out loud. I want to say out loud that you are seen and you are heard. People that have been physically abused, punished for speaking the truth in the face of the unjust, exposed to domestic violence, taken advantage of, people that are unlearning behavior taught in a barbaric society, and those who might have lost someone along the way due to life and death and the other unfortunate circumstances in life. And we're working of protection in the knowledge of self. I wrote down Africa, spirituality, policy, with methods, with lifestyles, the scientific socialism, and how do I act in loving myself? Which brings us to the beautiful map that I mapped out. Squirrel. And this breaks down from the P&L program, the People's Network for Land and Liberation. They have a 5-point program. I'll include this in the description also. Decommodify land to build the community land trusts and for affordable housing, and employing digital fabrication tech for decentralized manufacturing. that empowers local communities, establishing worker-owned co-ops, self-education programs, and of course our culture and art activities. Because if it isn't soulful, it isn't strategic. Yeah, that was a lot. Definitely going to take some time to sit down. We're going to go into strand 5 for this month. Keep track on my IG, link and subscribe. Share this with people interested. I'll put in a Cash App, donate to the agency. That's my LLC, which is just it's going to be me just promoting, better health, ways of living through my study and through my experience. As y'all see here, it's like a puzzle. I'm building up this puzzle, of different texts from different things. Y'all let me know how you feel, of course. And have a great month of May. Stay safe, take your time, and be dangerous. Peace.